video for Forrest Keeling Nursery on the WordPress side of the site. So we're going to start today by looking at the front side of the site on the right hand side, and then I've got the back side of the site on the left hand side, so we can kind of compare back and forth what controls what. First of all, you're going to want to go to fknursery.com/WP-admin, and there you'll enter your email and password and log in. Yours will look a little bit different than mine. Keep that in mind. When you're hunting around, you'll have a few less things here on the left-hand bar. But you'll be able to access all the things that you need to get to as far as pages and posts go. At the very top of the navigation here on the left, you'll see Dashboard. And you can check in on the dashboard the Google Analytics. Now this is brand new on the site, so right now it's showing 0. But in a week you'll start seeing numbers here, and you can view a few different settings in the Google Analytics that's built in. You could also log into the actual Google Analytics and see all of the details, but certainly this gives a lot of information once you kind of look around this area, and you can check out the different settings and things and try different content to look at. Then as you go down the left hand side, probably the next most used piece are the posts. So I'm going to go over here to news, for instance. And a lot of the items on the site are all within post. So they're really all blogs, but they've been categorized in different ways. For instance, they may be news, they may be research, I think we had in there. There may be information on some of the other, like let's say we go to commercial, all of the blocks that we had down here, the Knowledge Center, Naturally Different, conservation applications, all of those are posts. And you can find them all in there. Professional events is different. The events are different because they're formatted a little bit differently. So if I go to post here on the back side of the site and take a look, you can see probably all the articles that you recognize already that are in there, and it shows who published them and the date. Certainly you can go back and you can edit any one of these by just clicking on the title, and it will pop up. And then all of the content is on the page. It's very easy if you want to just click in the boxes and edit content. There are several different formatting options within the box. For instance, if I click on paragraph here, there's a couple of options. You probably don't want to put everything in script, obviously, but the default font is the font that is standard for the whole site. You can also do lists or headings or quotes, different things like that that might be helpful. There are also colors that you can apply. We do try to keep things as simple as possible with the brand, as far as, really the bright greens and the darker greens for Forrest Keeling, as well as the grays and blacks. But you could apply colors there, bold, italics. You could also go ahead and select text and add a link and type in the URL or paste in the URL that you want it to go to. Whether that's on the site or off of the site, it really doesn't matter. And then you'll see these 3 buttons right here. This gets a little more complex, but this site is set up in a block format. And so you can add additional blocks to this page. In fact, like let's say you wanted to group 2 pieces together, you could do that with group into container, and you can get really fancy with some things there. But let's say you just want to insert a block after this one. It'll give you this little space and a plus. When I click this plus, you can see all the different types of blocks that I can add here. A video pop-up, icons or columns, image gallery, all different kinds of things that you could add in. And some of these you'll notice are things that we've sort of specially created for this site. For instance, if you type in image, if you just want to add an image, there's image boxes, and that's 3 boxes side by side, and we've used that a couple places in the site. So a lot of different options there. And then as you add blocks too, you'll see that you get options to do color settings on the side here. Again, your styles are here. You can choose from those. There's a lot of different options, but most of the time, you're probably going to be copy pasting the text right into the page. Now, an important thing to note is that the featured image, so if we go back to news, believe this one is listed here. There we go. The 2021 plant sales, that's what this article is, and that's what it looks like on the front. You can add an image in the featured image spot. So normally this says add an image. You click on that and you can place an image in there. Obviously you can also remove it or do other things. That is the image that's going to show up here in the little preview. It's also the image that will show on the page itself. And then whatever is put in the title at the very top is what shows up in the green bar. So you can see all of those elements, kind of how that compares from the front of the site to the back of the site. And you can see there's links embedded in there with the link tool. Pretty basic stuff. Now, the other part that's important is this categories option. So these are all of the categories within the site, like that we talked about. It could be news. It could be that we also want this to show up in the Knowledge Center or the how-to guides, any of those. You can select multiple ones for it to show up in. But the goal would be to, consistently select at least one category for your article to show up in. Then also, if you want to get into this a little bit deeper, this one has not been done yet. There's a tool built into every page and every post called Yoast SEO. This is going to boost SEO on the site and certainly is a great tool. Now we've got it set up to do some default items. For instance, there's a meta description that gets automatically entered onto every page. There's also a layout for the SEO title that will automatically happen, like 2021 plant sales. It puts in the title, the page, the separator, the site title, and so forth. So what it's going to do is it's going to string all these things together and say 2021 plant sales, and it's going to give the site title of Forrest Keeling Nursery, and that will certainly help in search engines find you. But you could go ahead and add in your own key phrase. If there was something really unique about this page that you wanted to tie in, I would do that here. Go ahead and put in a unique key phrase that maybe sort of summarizes this page and add that in. And certainly you can alter this meta description and make it more specific to the actual page. A lot of times we try to pull just the first couple sentences out of the page that maybe summarize what's happening there. You'll also notice that there are some scores. Like right now, this one's gray. So if I put in plant sales here, now I get an orange face. He's semi-okay with this, but the goal is to get to green. Now it's very tough to get to green, but there are times that you can sort of edit things down, make sure that your key phrase is showing up on the page. It's also showing up in the meta description. And if all of those things are happening, you might make this thing happy and it will turn to a happy green face. Whoops, I've got to not do it that way. But anyway, you can put all of that information in. And so the more you can sort of meet all the criteria, the better and higher you'll rank for SEO. The rest of this you can probably just ignore for now. The scripts and things at the bottom we're not needing to use at this point. So that's a basic way to edit a page or a post on the page. I'm going to leave that without saving. But let's see if maybe you wanted to create a brand new one from the start. So back at posts again here on the left, you're going to hit add new at the top. And then you're back to the same layout, and essentially then you start typing in this space. You get it, you give this a title at the top, and that's what's going to show up in the green bar. And then remember to make sure that you're setting your featured image. It's going to take you immediately to the image gallery. And I've uploaded a lot of images, kind of gone through, sized images down for web, and then uploaded a lot. So there's a lot of extra images already sitting in here, but certainly you can also go to upload and select a file. The goal is to keep this as simple as possible and small as possible. So you really don't want a gigantic file that you're uploading. That'll take too long to load on the web. You want to make sure they're kind of smaller files. And you may have to size that to begin with, or ask us for files, and we'll try to provide those into the media library for you. So you'll set your feature and image, and be sure when you're done to check the appropriate categories that it should be added to. So that's all there. And of course you can add in any SEO information if you want to do that as well. And then when you're completely done, you want to hit the blue publish button at the top. And so that will go ahead and publish it live, and it will show up in the appropriate place. So for instance, if it was news and you checked that box, there would be a new news item show up here. And actually it would show up in the upper left because they come in with the newest one at the top. And then everything sort of gets shoved down a little bit further. We do have a tool that will eventually also start sorting these. But we don't have enough right now for that to really make sense. But there is an option to go ahead and add the categories back in here. So if you had a ton of articles in Naturally Different, or a ton of news articles, whatever it was, we could start categorizing those into smaller segments as well. All right, so that really summarizes how to add posts that are involved in news and all of the other different areas. The one I guess we didn't talk about was residential. There's the how-to guides, landscape with a purpose. All of those are posts. Now, the other thing that we haven't talked about is events. So events look a little bit different. They're formatted a little bit different, and they are in a different place. So we're going to leave this without saving. And events are right here on the left. You can click on that, and you can see we have a couple in there. Plant sales is also listed as an event, and here it is. It's got the same photo, but it's actually in a different area. So if we click on 2021 plant sales, you'll see the content. I've got my page sized down kind of funny, so it's going all the way to the edges. There's just kind of some basic content on this one, not quite as fancy. Let's go back. Fall Field Day, there we go. That's kind of a normal one. Fall Field Day has the content on it, and then it has the information that we had set up in the original design. And obviously once there are events happening again, you can build some more events like this. You'll hit add new, and put the content in there. There's date and time down here that will start showing up. I'll tell you what, let me show you by going to the back side of this one so that you can see and compare. All of this text is sort of built into a graphic. And so it really might be easiest, it's a block, but you can copy and paste, and essentially just, if you were back here, go to Fall Field Day, and you can clone this thing, create a whole new event, edit it, and then start putting in your new content, your new title, all of the information that goes in these spots. The date and time will be listed there, and in all that information. There's also a featured image, and here we go under events. There's date and time. This is what essentially puts it in order. It tells it what order to put it in chronologically. So there is a way to build this by adding in blocks, but really the easiest way is to just use a previous one as a template, duplicate it, and fill in the new information. Okay, let's move on to pages. Back here on the front, sorry, I'm going to get this back to the front of the website again. All right, if I wanted to edit a page, a regular page on the website, like let's say it was the home page, and because there's content here for what is RPM. So I'm going to go to Pages in the left navigation, scroll down to the home page. And you'll see here that if we follow these sort of side by side, The top is called Revolution Slider. And so that's right now it's the video that's running in here. So that's the top. And then as you scroll down, you can see this section comes next. And then the next section, you don't have to worry about this little message. It's confused because there's a little graphic creating that, but it's fine. And then as you scroll down, you can see that the text is in these boxes. You can edit that text. This is a read more, so it's a link. I could edit that link if I needed to. I could break the link. These are the same items we looked at before. It's just all editing, text editing, and so forth down the page. Make any edits that you want. If you wanted to replace this photo, you could open the media library, choose a different photo, and replace it. There are also a lot of different options over here on the right hand side. Now, you kind of have to be careful with these because it will change formatting on the page, but you could change the color of text or of the backgrounds. You could even choose that the photo is smaller or bigger. There's a lot of different options over here on the right for the styles, the settings, and so forth. And then back at the, or down at the very bottom, you'll see the news archives here and another graphic that's kind of throwing it for a loop, but it's okay. Now, footers are in a different location, and actually I don't think that you'll have access to that, but certainly call us and we can get into the code to change the footers. They apply to the entire site, so that's in a little bit different location. All right, that's the core really of getting around the site, making changes to text, updating, for instance, any of the buttons that needed to be updated. So let's go to one more. If we go to residential, on the front, we can see there's a Shop Now button. So for right now, that Shop Now button goes to the Shopify site. It would be helpful if I was finding there it is right in front of me, residential. So you can see that I've made this a button and it's in the Forrest Keeling green. And if I select this button, it goes to the Shopify link. So we will eventually change that to where that's all internal as soon as SBI gets done with their portion. And then on this page as well, there's these like 4-column images set up. Here you can edit text, read mores. The icons are all in there right now. Certainly we can create others, and you can see there's adjustments for all of that they could scale up or scale down if we needed to make any adjustments, but everything should be pretty much in place. And then as well as on the contact page, again, it's sort of a special format that's been set up. And there are forms within the site, just a couple like these. We have access to the forms. I'm not sure that you're going to be able to see those as an editor. If you have anything that you need to do differently, if you need to change the content that we're collecting or who that gets sent to, just let us know. We can edit those forms. Same with menus at the top. If you need to edit these menus, we can help out with that too. Hope that's helpful, and feel free to give me a call if you have any questions. Thanks.